Is Saxon Math worth it? Do you ever wonder why it is such a struggle to do Saxon Math at your house? I'm CCHappyMom, and I have 3 suggestions for you, and a book recommendation. Like many of you, I'd heard that Saxon Math was the gold standard for homeschooled math. And that may be because it is very thorough and well-researched. However, my suggestion number 1 for you today is Saxon Math is not for every child, and that's okay. I love math. My oldest daughter does not. She rejected every effort I made to try to make Saxon Math fun and exciting and, oh, look at this. Literally, she devised schemes that were to throw me off course with our math, and some days we just didn't do math because I was busy and sick of fighting her on the math. So frustrated, I turned to a friend who had gone before me, and she suggested Horizons Math. And you know what? It was colorful, and there were caterpillars, and there were only 2 pages of work per day. She was hooked. Not hooked. Truth be told, it still took me rubbing her back and putting out in front of her those little counting bears, you know, the primary colored ones, to make a game out of it. But we did math. She got through math. She did very well on her SAT math, more on that later. But we worked with her, and this girl got through math using Horizons. We did not do calculus. I knew that she was not going to be going into a STEM field in college, so we made the decision not to do calculus with her, and that's fine. So this is what would work with her. If there was a giraffe on the page, guess what? She'd draw a little rider on the giraffe. I'd ask her, dear, did you finish section 2? Oh, section 2 was the pink section. Of course I did, because pink is my favorite color. Whatever works with your child is great. So I will tell you that my second thought is, once I understood how Saxon Math was supposed to be done, it went from a struggle to one of my favorite things that we did in our school. My second 2 children loved math, and I'll get to that in a second, but here's my book recommendation for you. There is a book, and I'll try to put a picture of it up here for you. There is a book called Using John Saxon's Math Books by Art Reed. And this was an eye-opener for me. It's a very short book. You can get it on Amazon new or eBay used. There are several copies. I think I've already sold my copy on eBay. And it changed my idea on Saxon Math. I had been doing it all wrong. When I first started Saxon Math, and even when I picked it back up again with my younger two, I realized that we had been skipping every other problem. And I think probably some of you out there have done this as well. Let me know in the comments below if you skip every other problem, because surely they can't ask us to do all of that math in one sitting. Well, guess what? Yes, you do need to do every problem, because Saxon Math is a spiraling math program that builds on each other, and it is designed to have you revisit the skills every day in different presentations repeatedly to get practice on those. So if you're skipping out on half of the problems, that's a problem, because your child is not going to get the mastery and is not going to get the practice of that concept in a different form. Another thought, again, I'm paraphrasing on this book, and really you should read it to do it justice. And I'll actually link below on a link that I found online, a free resource that kind of talks to this. But another thing was, it is essential for your child to go back and redo the problems that they missed. It is tempting to say, wow, there are 30 problems and you only missed 3. Good job. And that is a good job. But part of the learning in Saxon Math is to go back, take your answer key, and figure out what you did wrong. That is part of the learning, and it's an essential part of Saxon Math. I will tell you that the third part, or I guess another thing that I gleaned from this is, you know what, you don't have to do another lesson every single day. Saxon Math is hard. It is good, but it is thorough. So if your child, for example, out of 30 problems misses 10 of the problems, you know what? Let them know. Tomorrow, let's just take a good day and go through the mistakes and try to figure out where our gaps were in the learning, and try to figure out the problems. And that's okay. You do not have to do a new lesson every day. And I would tell you, you don't have to do a new book every single year for Saxon. Math is cumulative, and it all builds on itself. So do not stress yourself out about that. I will tell you about my youngest two. A caveat on this. I decided, since we had had such a bad experience with Saxon in the very beginning, I said, you know what, we're just not going to do it with the younger two. And so I picked up Abeka, and Abeka Math is great too. Let me know if you use Abeka Math. But then I decided in Horizons, these two, my youngest, were really going fast in Horizons, and they enjoyed it. They'd say, Mom, look at this, and I did this, and good job, you got all of them correct. And it was exciting for them. So I let them do, if they wanted, 2 math lessons a day, and we sped through the Horizons math program. So for those two, I said, all right, let me try the Saxon again. So I jumped back into Saxon with them, and it was a struggle because I was skipping problems, every other problem. So that's when I got the book by Art Reed, and it really changed my perspective, and I hope it'll be useful to some of you as well. Just a side note, this is how I knew that my kids, my younger two, were really gifted in math and really enjoyed it. They, like I said, breezed through their Horizons work, and they were excited and wanted to learn more and wanted to show me, look how well I'm doing this. And they didn't mind tackling the problems. And when they got it wrong, sure, it was frustrating, but they were excited to figure it out and think, oh, that's why I missed it. So that's when I knew those two would go into STEM fields. And you know what? They are. And they got great math SAT scores, and again, more on that later. So here is a bonus thought for you, is if you are in classical conversations in the challenge years and they are going through Saxon Math and you are not at home, it's okay. The Saxon Math is a great review. What you're doing in the challenge programs will help your child. Either it'll be a new concept that they'll see eventually, or it will be a good review on something that they've already seen. So stick with it and keep them encouraged on doing that review in class on Community Day. Let's see, my third thought, well, actually, I gave you my third thought. That was my confession that I didn't actually use Saxon for the younger years because of our terrible experience. So I am going to say, how about you? How have you been doing in your math at home? Did you start with Saxon Math? Have you been doing every other problem? Are you frustrated with it? Did you switch to a new curriculum? Is there something you found that's better? Have you identified that some of your kids are really good at math? I'd love to know. So let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe and find me on Instagram. I'm trying to do Instagram, not very good at it yet, but find me on Instagram if you can and follow me over there, and I'll try to let you know when new videos are coming out. And I guess that's it. I'm CCHappyMom. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week, and I look forward to talking with you soon.